Hello, my name is Drew Lever. I'm the Wellness Director at the Randolph County YMCA, and today we're going to talk about mental health. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health, even though many times people don't put as much of an emphasis on their mental health. It's very, very important. Fortunately, as of late, there's been a lot more talk about mental health and how important it is, and so a lot more people are starting to think about what they can do to improve their mental health, how to stop some of the negative things that are happening that can damage the mental health in their life. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what can negatively impact your mental health and some tips on how you can improve your mental health. So first off, we're going to talk about what can negatively affect mental health. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is overuse of technology. So if you're constantly looking at your phone, your computer, video games, whatever form of technology it is, if you're looking at a screen too much, it's going to be hard on your mental health because it's just very draining to be looking at a screen all day, and then you're also probably not connecting with the people around you. That can really help boost up your mental health, and we'll talk about that more in upcoming slides, but it's hard to connect with people in a real way when you're always on technology. Lack of exercise or physical activity. Your body is designed to move. If you're not moving, you're not going to feel very well physically, but it also can affect you mentally because you're dealing with lots of aches and pains that you maybe wouldn't otherwise, but you're also not getting the endorphins and hormones that help your brain feel good and help you think more clearly, get the blood flowing. All of that can really help by just being physically active, but if you're lacking that exercise, physical activity, it's going to negatively impact your mental health. Poor diet definitely can make it so you don't think as clearly, you're not fueling yourself as well as you could be, so you're not going to be at the top of your mental game. Perfectionism can really be draining on your mental health because you're thinking that this has to go just right, and most of the time it's not going to work out exactly how you expected, and if you're always trying to get that just right, it's going to be hard and frustrating, and you're going to get frustrated most likely. So it's good to have realistic expectations. Doesn't mean that you don't strive for high standards, set high goals, but you need to realize that sometimes it's not going to work out exactly perfectly. Lack of sleep can be damaging to your mental health. The body needs rest. If you're not resting appropriately, your body's not going to feel good. You're not going to be able to think very clearly. Guilt and regret. So there's lots of different things that could happen in your life that could make you feeling guilty, or maybe have regret about something you could have done that you didn't do. So there's different ways of dealing with that guilt and regret. If you have that in your life, you might want to talk to someone, whether it be your friends, family, mental health professional, different things like that. But you want to try to overcome some of those things if you can, because it's really going to be difficult on your mental health if you have those feelings happening frequently in your life. Loneliness is something that can definitely be hard on your mental health. We're meant to live in community, so if we're not having people around us that we have real relationships with, it's going to be hard as well. Even if you're around a lot of people all the time, if it's more superficial relationships, it may not really help your mental health that much. You need to get those close connections. And then alcohol and drug use can really hurt your mental health because if you're abusing alcohol or you're taking drugs that can alter your mental state, that's going to be very damaging. And even some of these substances can literally do damage to your brain when used inappropriately. So you want to try to avoid using drugs, especially illegal drugs, and then alcohol. Just make sure you're using it responsibly, that it's not damaging your mental health. The next thing we're going to talk about is some of the tips on how you can improve your mental health, and the first one is building relationships. So I've mentioned this already in the last slide, but people are meant to live in community with each other. So putting an emphasis on building strong relationships with family, friends, coworkers, and anyone you interact with on a day-to-day basis is really important. So you need to have connections, whether it be with your family. Some people are really close with their family, so that's going to be who they're going to talk to the most and have those really close relationships. But not everyone's super close with their family. So you might want to find friends. Could be friends at work, could be friends at an activity that you do that you like to do. Say you like to play a sport and you join a league. Those could be your people. You just need to make sure you have those relationships in place. People that you can talk to when times are tough, you can just have fun with. It's just really important to have people around you that can hold you up in the good times and the bad times. Next is exercise. So there are many health benefits with exercising. We mostly think of the physical benefits, but there's lots of benefits that can be attributed to mental health. So it's going to decrease your depression and anxiety if you're moving your body, which has attributed to some of the hormones and endorphins that you get when you're exercising. But it's also, if you are able to do the things that you want to do, a lot of things that people try to do involves being physically active, but if you're not exercising on a regular basis, you may not be able to do those things, and that's going to kind of be frustrating. So if you stay active, stay exercising, you'll be able to do those things, which will kind of help you be in a better place with your mental health because you're able to do the things that you enjoy. The next slide is about more of a state of mind, so a state of mind of being thankful and generous. So if you appreciate the things that you have rather than thinking about what you don't have, that will create joy. So no matter what you have or don't have, it's good to be grateful for it. Some people have everything in the world, it seems like, but they're always looking for the next thing, and they're not very happy because they're not content with what they have, even though they have a lot. Others don't have much at all, but they're very content with what they have. And this is not to say that you can't strive for more, because that's okay to strive for more, but you need to be kind of in a place where you're all right with what you have. You may one day get to a point where you acquire something more, whether it be a relationship, possessions, whatever it happens to be. But just being in a good place of thankfulness for where you're at today will really help your mental health. Also being generous, so when you help others out, it gives you a sense of purpose, and it just makes the place that you live a lot better. So when you feel like you have purpose, that definitely improves your mental health. When you don't feel like what you're doing really matters, or you don't have a specific reason why you're doing the things you're doing, that is really draining on your mental health. So having a purpose is very important. So when you help others, that allows you to feel like you have a purpose, and then also it will help the people around you to have a better world to live in. And when the people around you have a better world to live in, that also benefits you. You also are living in that world. So being thankful and generous is very important for mental health. The final thing is, if you really are struggling with your mental health, reach out to a friend, family, or even mental health professional, or it could be a combination. You might reach out to a family member and then also go see a counselor. Just depends on the situation, depends on what you need, but definitely reach out to someone, because it's important not to face the struggles that you're dealing with alone, because there's a lot of things that people are going through that are really hard, and if you try to take that on by yourself, it's not going to work out so well. People need other people, and you can also probably be that person for someone else. Maybe you tell them about something that you're going through, and they have something that they share with you, and you kind of can work together that way, especially if it's friends or family. But that's just something that I would suggest. None of us are perfect. We all have things we're going through. We need other people to help us out. So that being said, I hope this presentation has been helpful, that you've seen some of the negative impacts on your mental health and some things you maybe should avoid, and then also ways that you can improve your mental health. So mental health is very important. There's a lot of different elements of health, but we definitely don't want to forget about our mental health. So I hope you enjoy your day, and thank you for listening to this presentation.